Good morning and welcome to this weekend's Brunch Club, where we toast to all the amazing, diversely faceted women out there, filling your cup with inspiration and encouragement as our guests share their personal stories, experiences with careers, family, parenting, equality, mentoring, and advice. The Brunch Club is where we raise a glass and champion female talent and leadership everywhere, and where sparkling is always encouraged. Hosted by Rachel Swoboda and brought to you from the beautiful showroom of Bixby & Ball, located in Newport Beach's Lido Marina Village. Now, here is your host, Rachel Swoboda.
Hi, I'm Rachel Swoboda, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Brunch Club. And I'm here today with Kaitlynn Irvine.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. So Kaitlynn works at the Irvine Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
And how long have you been there?
I've been there about a year and a half now, but
Okay.
it feels like a lot longer in the best way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me more about that.
I'm the event manager there, so I do all of our corporate events. So we have about 6 signature events, which is about 500 guests and up. We reach to almost over 800 guests at one of our events. So about every 2 months, we switch into a bigger event, and then we have monthly luncheons and after-hour mixers, and it's all to help bring together business leaders in the community, businesses, and help them trade with each other, talk, and help them grow their business.
So the Irvine Chamber of Commerce down here in Orange County is, I'd say, one of, if not the largest chamber that we have down in Orange County. And the fact that you can get almost 800 people at an event is huge.
Absolutely, and we are so fortunate because Irvine is such a unique place to give us that opportunity. You know, with the master plan, that's really helped grow the Irvine community as well as the business community. And when those two pair together, not only just the community with retail and families, it really helps our business community as well.
So part of what we're doing in the Brunch Club is we're having different women, whether they're business owners or leaders or up-and-coming leaders, to talk about their experiences. And one of the reasons why I asked you to come on the show today and to get to know you a little bit better, because I've been so impressed with the way that you've been able to kind of spearhead your career at a young age, coming in to, I mean, the biggest chamber in this space, and you're surrounded by different influencers and business owners and kind of movers and shakers in the community. And how has that been for you? I want to take me back in time and bring your story to life. How did you know that you wanted to work there? How did you get your foot in the door? Where would a young, up-and-coming, ambitious young leader start their journey? So take me through it.
Right. Okay. Well, I went to school at Northern Arizona University, and after I graduated...
Wait. First, tell everyone about your name. Given the fact that your last name is Irvine.
Yeah.
So tell that, go all the way back. Tell that story.
So it's kind of funny because I ended up working for Irvine, but my last name was Irvine. I grew up right here in Orange County, so it was always kind of like a funny thing, but it never was as ironic until I got older working for the chamber.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, but it wasn't the name alone. They got you.
No. If only it was that easy.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, so I went to school first, and then I actually stayed in Arizona, and I worked for an audio production company at the time, just doing human resources, which turned out to be the best lesson because that's kind of what got my foot in the door for events. I started learning how you're putting a stage together, and I learned a little bit about audio, what kind of mics you need for what situations.
Now, were you just really curious and you wanted to understand how all the different facets of events went together, or you just kind of fell into it?
I kind of just fell into it. Quite honestly, I was a desperate college student looking for a job.
Okay.
And I got the job, and I started off kind of more as like a receptionist, but there wasn't enough to keep me busy, so I got bored. So I started being nosy and taking on more jobs or going to the events and like sitting and watching everyone doing the AV and things like that.
So just being there basically and absorbing.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And so then there just wasn't a lot of growth, and I was still in a college town, so I came back to Orange County, and when I did that, the best thing I did was I met with someone I knew through family friends that could give me some advice about the business landscape.
Okay.
And I just took them for coffee, and they were just giving me some places to get involved, and one of them was the PRSA. So I just went to one of those mixers on my own and started meeting people, and then an internship opportunity came up from one of the people I met there.
Okay.
And that was with the Orange County Business Council, and I went into that, and I just volunteered at one event, and then started working with them a little bit more and got hired on.
So it sounds really easy. You make it sound really simple, but I want to pause on each step in that journey because it wasn't an accident.
No, it was work. It did take some work.
It was hard, but I find that when people, particularly women that I have met, are at that stage in their careers where they're getting out of college and they're looking for their job, if you ask someone to go to coffee, I mean, I get asked all the time if I can go to coffee with somebody. 9 times out of 10, it's a woman, and I always say yes, right? Because you never know. And I think putting yourself out there, were you scared?
Oh, absolutely. I was so nervous. I remember I used to like try to show up like 20 minutes early just to like find a spot to make sure there was a table or something. I was super nervous and scared.
And did you kind of research the person in advance? Like, did you cold call them, cold email? Like, how did you?
I just started off, I think the first thing was I went to someone I knew in the community.
Okay.
And I asked them, like, what's your resources, or, you know, what's your advice for finding or building resources there? And naturally, I was lucky enough to have someone who's kind enough to set me up with a couple people that they knew and said, hey, I know these people, go to these things and meet these people.
So it's working on those relationships.
Yeah, it's
not just a network of contacts, which, you know, one of our other guests on the show who started Spa Girl Cocktails was talking. She always says, and I'll quote her, you know, it's about relationships, not contacts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's not just who you know, but it's the relationship you've built with them. Okay, so you'd invite them to coffee. Was there follow-up that you did with each person? What's the recipe for anyone who's looking to go down that path?
I would definitely say first thing is the person you're asking to go to coffee, whether it's through email or text, send them a nice message, tell them a little bit about yourself and why you think they'd be a good person to meet. So do some homework on them a little bit.
Yes.
Social media stalk them.
Yes, please do.
Absolutely.
We don't mind.
Yeah.
We're flattered when people do that. It's nice. Keep going.
Yeah, and then go and be prepared with some questions, and I mean, do your research as well. You can learn a little bit about the community before you even talk to the person, so you're not going in there not knowing anything. You can go in with just a little bit of knowledge and come out with 10 times more.
Okay. So when you take those meetings and you're there, I have a favorite question, and I wonder if you ask them this.
Okay.
I always ask, or I respect it when somebody asks, what can I do for you? Has that come up?
Yeah, I feel like that's the best thing to end on when you're thanking them for your time. Be like, I always used to say, you know, I'm new here. Is there anything I can do for you? If you ever need help or some free labor, let me know. I'm happy to do it.
Okay, pivot into that when you're talking about the free labor, because you were also talking about volunteering at events. I have found and advised people that the best way to get an invite to an event that they can't afford to go to, if like the price of the ticket is really high and you're looking for a job, but if you ask to volunteer, then they'll let you come for free. They'll let you work the check-in table. They'll let you get to know everybody that's arriving. Like, talk about what that was like.
That was my first entry into actually my real job in Orange County with the Orange County Business Council. I volunteered at their economic forecast event, which was their largest of the year.
Oh yeah.
And same thing, I helped with name tags. I stuffed badges and then I handed them out. And then they were kind of, after check-in was over, go sit, enjoy the event. I got to hear things I had no clue what they were talking about just the economy, but I still listened. And then after that, I even stayed late and was just like helping them take out badges that were left over and helping them clear some tables. So. And
that led to your first job.
It did.
100%. I mean, that is the perfect success story of someone who, you know, is just putting themselves out there, and that's being brave.
Right, and it didn't just come, they didn't hand me the job right after. I actually interned with them for about, I think, 3 or 4 months, 3 days a week, and I just wrote it out and waited and just like kept working with them and learning from them, and then I got a full-time position with them.
I love that too, because I feel like a lot of people that come across my desk, you know, they want it and they want it now.
Right.
So you were patient.
Oh, I still wanted it right then.
Oh, okay, all right.
You want it in your mind, but I definitely was like, just when you put yourself in the right position, you'll know with a good company, you can see what they're doing with their clients, you see how they interact, and if you know they're good, they're worth the wait. And it's learning how to choose who's worth the wait, and they were.
So how long were you there?
I was there close to a year.
Okay, and what made you decide to pivot?
I don't know if it was I knew I was ready for a change, or I just sometimes going through my job, I obviously scroll through LinkedIn and see what's going on, and I just saw this position that piqued my interest because when I was with the business council, I was doing communications and events, and I loved both, but it's divided attention, and so it was really awesome to see a job come up that was solely on events, and it just piqued my interest, and I was like, there's no harm in just talking with someone, and I loved everything about what the chamber did, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
So, I mean, on the Brunch Club, we talked to a lot of different women, and one of the events that I've been very impressed with throughout the years that the Irvine Chamber has put on is the Women of Influence event. It's always in March.
Yes.
Okay, which aligns beautifully with
International Women's Day. So
yes,
we had it last year on International Women's Day, and this year it will be on International Women's Day as well, March 8th.
March 8th. And so last year it was at the
Irvine Marriott.
And the year before it was at the Island Hotel, I believe.
Correct. Yes.
So are you in full planning mode?
We are in full swing. So we have a couple announcements coming up that we're excited to share with everyone, but we are in full planning mode and stage design.
I've always been very impressed with the caliber of women that speak at the event. And that's one thing, but it's the authenticity of the stories that are told at the event that really ring true to me. They don't just get up there and share their story. You feel like, and there must be almost 800 people in the room, and you feel like they're talking just to you. What kind of direction are you giving them? Is year after year, they don't sugarcoat it. They're authentic, they're uncurated, it's candid, they're like just so personable.
I think it comes a lot from, we have a committee that helps us plan this event, and so when you get 8 strong, well-minded women in the room and you start throwing ideas about...
Wait, the committee is all women too?
It is.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I know a couple of friends of mine that are on it, but I didn't realize it was all women.
It is.
Okay.
And so when they're all in the room and we start throwing back names of people we think are great candidates, I think that's the first step is you have multiple people who give you great ideas, and you're going through people that know them. So you know they're authentic because you have people who've already either talked with them or haven't had an encounter with them. So I think that's our
Who
first
were some
step.
of the women that you've had in years past?
Rosie O'Neill from Sugarfina was last year,
Yep.
and she was amazing. And she actually knew Sandy Jones, who is on our committee, and they went to school together. So that's kind of how we built that relationship with her. But she did an amazing job. She knows branding like the back of her hand.
She did well. I was very pleased. I think she's fantastic. I know her too, and I think she did a beautiful job. I was also really impressed with the See Jane Go.
Yes, Cassandra Miller.
The timing of the event in alignment with what's going on with their business. It was a really special time.
Yeah, it was the perfect peak, and they were really on the cusp of something that was probably very needed in our community.
Yep.
And they had some foresight with that. So it was awesome to have her there and hear how she got through to that point where she was able to help cultivate a company that was champions for women being safe.
Yeah, I think eventually I'm going to try to get her on the show too, because her story is phenomenal. So we'll do that. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about what's coming up for the Women of Influence event in 2019.
Bedding, lighting, furniture, decor. We do it all, even the kitchen sink. Bixby & Ball offers customers a thoughtful collection of home decor and meaningful gifts for any special occasion. Bring the coastal lifestyle home with the help of our styling and design team. Let's create a timeless piece together. Visit us at one of our charming stores, conveniently located in Newport Beach, Lido Marina Village, and Solana Beach, Cedros Design District. Or shop online at bixbyandball.com.
Hi, welcome back. So as we enter into the second portion of the show, I know we're all excited to hear what's coming up for the next Women of Influence event. If you can share any sort of teaser of what's coming.
Absolutely. So we're extremely excited to be welcoming Marissa Wayne. She is the daughter of John Wayne, so a local movie star and champion within our community. She has an amazing story kind of about how she found her career but also married her career with giving back to her community.
I really, I know her, and I think she's fantastic.
She's amazing.
I love that she's always so willing to say yes. I've never asked her for anything and had her say no. She's giving of her time, of her spirit, of her energy, and she sings beautifully. She can do it all, really.
She does, and I'm like, how can you balance it all? You do it amazingly, and she's so graceful, and she's a pleasure to be around. It's great to hear some of her stories because she's so down to earth. So you feel like when you're talking to her, you're kind of like talking to your best friend.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a plug to come out and get your tickets for the Women of Influence event, so you can hear from Marissa and get to know her a little bit too. And I definitely won't be missing it. So that will be very exciting. And then the other speakers will be announced probably later this month or in February.
Yes.
Okay.
First week of February.
Got it. So they never disappoint. So stay tuned for that. And as we have a little bit more time together, I want to ask you about what's next for you. I mean, you grew up here, you went away to school, you came back, you were driven, you were dedicated, you worked your network, you built your relationships, you are on this path, it seems. Where's it going? What's next on the horizon for you?
Well, I definitely think I love the Chamber and I love our team. We have such great leadership, but I definitely would love to see some of our events become regional magnets. So I think that's my first goal in my career, is to build our events even more. And get to be
tell me about that. Have you seen an example of something like that you were like, oh yeah, I want to be like that? Or are you?
Yes, I've kind of seen when I've gone to some event conventions and talked to others, and I've seen how they're not working necessarily from a business perspective. So it's a little bit different when you go to event convention and you're talking to people, because they do more entertainment events, which are amazing. But as far as the business perspective, I would love for our Women of Influence, there's no reason we shouldn't be having more than 1,000 people there and be the magnet in Southern California that represents women in business.
That is fantastic.
So
good.
Yeah, so I think that's my first goal, and I think looking out into the future, I would either love to start my own event production company. That's a full service turnkey from stage design to setup to that.
I kind of had a feeling you were gonna say that.
Yeah. I would love to do that.
So, what's the timeline of something like that in your mind's eye, if you had it your way?
Probably like 7 to 10 years, I think.
Okay.
I definitely feel I have a lot still to learn and take in from my community and see what I can do for them in return once I go to that process.
Well, being involved in the Chamber, I think, is an amazing place to sort of springboard whatever you want to do next. Benefits of working with the Chamber, and advice to somebody who wants to get involved. If you could touch on those two things.
Yeah, as far as getting involved with the Chamber, I think the most important thing is show up. Just show up to any event. There's always an opportunity to meet new people, and it can be as simple as, I get emails all the time sometimes from people who are, I'm new to the community, I have a business, or I'm getting involved in a business, can I come to this event, like what would you recommend? And I think just even asking those questions to whoever it is on our staff, and we will always make sure to point them in the right direction, to get them involved and point them to an event that's actually going to benefit them, because you can't not come, and then if you don't come, you're not going to find something that's the perfect fit for you. And it involves so much more, because not only do you come for your business, but you're getting involved in the community, you're meeting people in the community, and it leads to a lot of great things.
So it sort of feels like it's one of those things you get in, or you get out what you put in.
Absolutely.
So it's showing up. And
yeah, I think
with an open mind and being engaged and involved and giving back is sort of the best way. So if that is the case, what's a challenge that you have encountered, whether it be at the Chamber or in the course of your career so far? I mean, I know that it's still early.
Yeah.
So maybe you haven't stumbled as much as some of us have, but
definitely
maybe you won't, or maybe you have. Okay. So let's talk about that. What's a challenge that you've overcome, and advice to somebody?
I think one of my biggest challenges was coming back to an area. Though I grew up here, I came back as an adult, and it's completely different, and you have almost nowhere to start from. So fresh slate, and then learning just how to encounter just the regular issues when you're starting a new job, trying to learn so much at once and trying to always be the yes person and make sure everything goes perfectly.
Tell me more about being the yes person. What's that? What's being the yes person?
I think personally, when you're early in your career, yes is the best word you can say. Whether it's part of your job description or not, if you have someone asking, can you help with this or can you do that, always yes, because you can learn from your different departments. That was always important to me. So even though I was just in events, if I had someone from my government affairs or economic development committee asking me just to do something little, like helping them set up their event, I would go and then I would stay for their meeting just to hear what was going on with them, so I had a better understanding of the company as a whole.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good advice. Yeah. So one of the things that I do on the show is I'll take a moment to sort of give a plug for a book that either I've read or that you've read, or something that we recommend to further continue our, advancement and our education as we're growing. So I let you pick the book today.
Yes.
All right. And so this is the book that you picked. So, all right, tell us why you picked it.
I picked it just because I liked the idea of how it's talking about trying to cater towards creative people, and I feel, especially in events in that line of work, when you have so many creative people, you have so many great ideas and you want to cater to them all, but it's hard to always do that. So how to learn to do that better.
Well, I haven't read it yet, but it's definitely on my short list. So if you get a chance to read it before I do, then let's compare notes.
Absolutely. And there's actually another book called The Defining Decade, which is really good for people who are starting out their career, and it's all about your 20s and why it's so important and how to set yourself up for success after.
Oh, and did you just read it?
Yeah, I did.
Is it new or?
I think it's been around for a little over a year or two, but it's really good. It's written by a psychologist, and they kind of just talk about their experience of what she sees with clients who are in their 20s and going through kind of those pivotal stages where you're learning, you're learning career, you're learning to balance your personal life, and it's really great. I think it's really helpful for anyone who's trying to struggle and balance it all.
I love it. It sounds like you have it all together.
I wish.
Well, this has been wonderful. Well, good luck with the upcoming event.
Thank you.
Let's see. Is there anything else, last words of wisdom that you want to share with anybody out there?
Last words of wisdom. Just hit the ground running. Don't be scared, just to keep going and don't look back and
say yes.
And say yes to everything, anything, because you never know where it's going to lead.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I will. If I don't see you before, I will definitely see you at the Women of Influence.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by the Brunch Club. It's been our pleasure to share this time with you. We look forward to bringing you more sparkling inspiration next weekend. If you have feedback, topics, or want to nominate someone to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us at rachel@sundaybrunchagency.com. Cheers!